Wena wendlovu. Wena wendlovu. Mayete.
Inabohlungane kanje abuhlungane wompelebele hlungule emanxulubeni waze wasamanxulube sebikelana sishaka kasishayeki unodume hlezi kamenze ilembe leqamanya amalembe ngokhalipha ugawu bezawuliluma beyoliphimisa bokhumbula amagabe bese lena bakabhideni mathethe limathethe nangeziyembe kwayikwashane semabehlane wezo bethivalela njalo somshalose basho kuwe wena kandaba sebebhulunywa ukumbulaza wayivalela ingonya bedlini intethe ngonongatiza mkhoto kwamalandela ephumukela bejubalala ilanga liphumela insizwa litheli phezulu lakasa lange liphathe elinye langemisebe ngoba liphathe lasemthandeni ozululisayo kwezana abantwana abadala kodwa bazibalekela bayethu jayethu alikhanda lisile.
We welcome all of you. We thank you for taking your time to come to this function this morning. We are going to be led by His Majesty and also our leadership here, which include Ubaba Ushenge, Umntwana waphindangene, kanjalo futhi nobaba uChiliza, nobaba uRavukile, bese kuba ubaba ukhansela umele umeya weTheku umama uZandile Gumede. Si acknowledge futhi our brother here, Esimasonke. So what is going to happen now is that we'll be led by His Majesty. We'll go the other side where we're going to be unveiling what we're going to be explaining to you, the parts that are here and what their purpose is and actually what is written. From there, we'll then proceed to the marquee where then the formal function will then proceed. So at this point, I'm going to ask His Majesty, supported by Baba Ushenge,
Good man.
I'm then going to read His Majesty the King, Bayete Wenawendo, glory to God. This monument is built in honor of His Majesty the King, the late former President Nelson Mandela, for their contribution and dedication serving the people of South Africa through culture, nation building, peace, non-violence, and eradicating poverty, by Mr. Ishwar Ramlutchman, Zulu, founder of Simananda World Peace Foundation, on the day of the 8th of November 2018. So let us pin this form, China, for Ramlutchman, then of course for his umntwana waphinda ngene, His Royal Highness Prince Buthelezi siyabonga.
Yalipunga.
Yalipunga. Thank you, Chair. Siyabonga. Ngizofunda nje the late former President Dr. Nelson Mandela. Glory to God, this monument was unveiled by His Majesty the King, and Mr. Ramlutchman Zulu, founder of Sivananda Wellness Foundation, the Premier of KZN, Premier T.W. Mtunu, Prince Buthelezi, traditional Premier to the Zulu Nation, also PD Theresa, Chairman of the House of Traditional Leaders, Ramlutchman, Richard Park Trust, and Her Worship the Mayor of Ethekwini, represented by Councillor Zamina, to the 8th of November. Maybe at this point, let me then explain, so that you don't have to go to the details of the whole monument here, that behind these two that we have just unveiled now is another bus that talks to the peace that has been promoted by our leadership here, led mainly by His Majesty, mainly the promotion of peaceful coexistence between different racial groups in our city, more particularly between the Africans of the Zulu nations and people of Indian descent in our city. So this then is paying homage or respect to the work done by our leadership here, and to that we are so grateful. So what we then do at this point is to then ask Baba Udlamini, Councillor Udlamini, to then unveil this one for us. Baba Udlamini. Yeah, certainly. I won't be reading the whole message, but as you said, this is about the recognition of the peaceful coexistence and also the work or contribution, leadership division by our leaders here in the promotion of social cohesion and peaceful coexistence among the people of our city from different racial groups, cultures, language groups, and so on. We thank you for that. We then proceed and we have to ask Baba, also Theresa, and also Baba Vivian Reddy to then please unveil the next one for us, which is the last one. This one talks briefly to the history of the Zulu nation.
Thank you very much. Mr. Ngobo, who have just been conducting this interesting program of the day, for inviting the Prince Mangosuthu of Kwapindangene to invite me to the podium just to say a few words on this august occasion. I know your schedule is so tight. Yesterday you just left Cape Town for the function to take place in the taking place in the evening last night. And now you have made it possible to be with us today. Your presence, Mr. Pillay, it's of interest to all of us because it shows that even the government himself has got some concerns about activities that are taking place in the province. And we thank you very much for the presence of Mr. Dlamini, who represents our Mayor of Durban. We're hoping that we'll be with her today, just to be out a bit of the office, just to come and have fresh air outside in this park. So, but the work I know that people are involved in to lead, they are of interest for our province. And I also want to thank the initiator of the function, Mr. Ishwar Ramlutchman Mapega. And I also want to thank the presence of Mr. Vivian Reddy, who is a very popular businessman in this Durban. And we thank those that have traveled on foot from Pretoria to Durban. But we are so blessed with such good rains that we have. If our people can make use of it, according to much more producers of food in this country, we can actually reduce a lot of problems of poverty that our country is facing at the moment. So now, as the monarch standing before you, ladies and gentlemen, just recently I hosted a delegation from the South African Indian community as part of the Diwali festival celebrations that was started by him, Mr. Ramlutchman, as his contribution towards my clarion call for meaningful social cohesion, especially between Africans and Indians. So I also thank the members of this park. We've had the history from the time it started up to now where it is. There are some species that are being taken care of and some species that are being looked after, some that has been named, given name of admirals. So that is very interesting. I think from those that are coming from educational institutions, they are going to understand the role of education, how important it is when it comes to this history that we have in this park. Ladies and gentlemen, from the honest, because while I'm happy to receive this acknowledgement of bronze statue, there is no doubt in my mind that whoever contribution is acknowledged here today, it was because of also other people who walked and worked with me towards the good of social cohesion. That is Ishwar Ramlutchman and others of the members of the Indian community. The young and old, men and women of integrity and greed, which breeds corruption in our government institutions and society. I'm mentioning these four evils because currently our country is taken aback by acts of racism, sounds and talk of ignorant, pains of rape and murder of women, and the arrogance of greatness. They don't have respect of any humanity. The media. If you don't tell them to stop this nonsense, they'll keep on doing it and doing it and doing it and doing it. And then they will see what will happen afterwards. So I'm mentioning this because these four evils, if not immediately addressed, are going to take this country backward. Soon we are going to change from being South Africans to being black, white, Indians and coloreds, while others may argue that these names represent our features. I argue that some of them are by themselves colonial and apartheid construct. So I argue that what should represent us best and as a collective is the concept of one humanity. So as the Zulu monarch, I believe in one humanity and in one God who might be perceived and praised differently, but he is one God. And I'm yet to hear people argue that it is this God who gave us these names because to him we are all his children, perhaps with different abilities and pigmentations, but ultimately we are all of his children. As a custodian of the Zulu tradition and customs, my service underlines how tradition serves as a source of unity in society and as a tangible proof of common values which bind communities together in evolving times. So I will continue to uphold these timeless values upon which our province and country are built, which are tradition, respect, wisdom, and difference. So I accept this honor, Mabeka, and those that you are working with, on behalf of those who came before me, who are kings of this nation, and the living, and those yet to be born. I'm praying that the relationship between the different race groups in this country should be a concrete to be united and living and make a lot of interesting things to develop our country and to combat poverty in this country. Kulunkulan Bosisi, ngiyabonga.